Hello and welcome back. Now that you have a basic idea about events, we went through different events in the previous session. In this video, I'll talk about subroutines, which are part of procedures. So when we talked about these procedures, we've discussed certain key characteristics of these procedures. First thing is, all of them have local data area and they support parameter interface. So you can use these procedures as reusable software blocks wherein you can pass certain data to these procedures and it can return certain data to your program. Since they support local data area, you can define variables within a procedure which are visible only within that procedure. And all these procedures can be called internally within the same program, or they can also be called externally from other programs. Right? And under procedures, we have subroutines, function modules, and methods. So in this video, we'll talk about subroutines. In the next video, we'll talk about function modules, and methods I'll talk in the next section after I give you an introduction to object-oriented programming. We've also seen that subroutines are maintained between form and form, and they are called using the perform statement. So let's discuss about these subroutines in detail, and let's see how you can pass parameters to these subroutines. If you are confused, I want to have a reusable software block, and which one should I use? Whether I should use a subroutine for that, or a function module, or a method. Let me make it clear for you. If you are looking at reusability within the same program, then use subroutines. Subroutines can be called externally, but we generally do not call subroutines externally. The reason for that is, it is very difficult to search for the subroutines. So if you have created one subroutine in a program, then there is no library which I can use to search for the existing subroutines. They are part of the program. They are hidden within a program. So unless I exactly know that there is a subroutine exists in a certain program, I won't know about its existence. So no point I create a subroutine and nobody else in my team knows about it, right? So if another developer is looking for certain common functionality and he wants to search for an existing procedure which he can use in his program, then the subroutines will be hidden in programs, so he cannot find them unless he exactly knows that there's a subroutine in this program. So even though they can be called externally, since there is no specific library where we can go and search for them, they're useless unless you maintain some documentation in your company listing all the subroutines that you have. So if you are looking for reusability within the program, use subroutines. Or if you want to just modularize your code within the program, use subroutines. So they can be used either to modularize the code or to provide some reusable functionality within the program. But if you are looking at reusability within the system, in the sense you have multiple programs which need certain functionality, then instead of you repeating the code in every program, you can create a function module and then call that function module in all those programs. For function modules, SAP provides a function library where you can go and search for existing function modules. So that way you can find them easily. So if you are looking at reusability across programs, use function modules. And methods, they're actually part of classes, object-oriented programming. So if you want to implement your program in object-oriented programming terms, so if you want to use object-oriented programming to develop your applications, then you can use these methods. So we'll start with discussing subroutines. We'll try to understand how you define subroutine, how they are called, and how you can pass parameters to your subroutines. To demonstrate this, let me create a few variables. To use a chain operator, and so I have these three variables, and I'll say perform get data, and let's say I'll use startup selection. Even if I don't use it, the system will anyway assign it, but to make it easy, I'll use it. Then I'll say perform show output, and let's say I'll assign vmatnar I'll assign some default values to it. Value, let's say 100, 100. And for Spras, I'll assign E as the value. Okay. Now I'll maintain the subroutines. Either you can maintain it directly between form and form, or you can write the perform statement and double click on that subroutine name. It will get you this dialog box. Select the main program, second option, and click OK. It will create this block within the program. Similarly, I'll do it for show output. Double click on the show output, perform show output. I'll get this, select the second one, main program. Okay. Now when the program is running, once the start of selection event is triggered, it will execute this code and then it will execute this code. Since I declared these variables in the global declaration area, I can access these variables both in getData and showOutput subroutines. But generally, whenever you are changing the data, it is recommended not to change the global variables. Okay. If I have a global variable and if I want to change the data, and if you're changing them in your subroutines, then when I look at the code, it's easy to get lost. So it is difficult to identify where exactly this particular variable is getting changed. So I'll assume it will have certain value, but by the time I reach the end of the report, it will have a different value, and it will be very difficult for me to trace where exactly it is getting changed. So to make it easy for somebody looking at the code, we'll try to, whatever parameters you access within a subroutine, we'll try to explicitly pass them so that somebody looking at my perform statement can understand, okay, these are the variables that are being used within this subroutine, and there is a chance that these particular variables are being manipulated within the subroutine. So that way it makes it clear for somebody looking at my code. So if you want to pass parameters to these subroutines, it is not mandatory that these procedures should have some parameters always. It's not mandatory that whenever you're calling a procedure, you should mandatorily pass parameters. But if you want to pass certain parameters, especially if you want to reuse a subroutine or any procedure, then it should have certain parameters. Based on the scenario, you can pass different values to it and it can return certain values. So for example, in our case, let's say I have a situation in my program where I have to constantly get the description for a material. For that, I can write the select statement whenever I need the description, or I can simply create a subroutine, keep the select statement within that subroutine, and call this subroutine with different material numbers. So I can pass different material numbers to this subroutine and it will return the description of that particular material. So that way we can make it a reusable software block. So what I'll do is, I'll pass this MATNAR and Spras to this subroutine and get data into this VMAKTX field. Okay, so anytime I need the description for a material, then I can call this subroutine for that. Now what are the different ways you can pass parameters to your subroutine? There are three ways you can pass parameters to your subroutines. One is pass by reference, pass by value, and pass by value and result. We'll see what is the difference between these three types of passing the parameters. The syntax to pass parameters to a subroutine is, at the perform statement level, you can use this using or changing keywords. So whatever parameters will be used within a subroutine are listed under using, and whatever parameters that will be actually changed after the subroutine is called will be listed under changing. So in this scenario, we'll be passing vMATNAR and vSpras values to the subroutine, and we'll be getting something into VMAKTX. So we'll be filling this VMAKTX field with certain value. So vMATNAR, vSpras will be used within a subroutine, and VMAKTX will be changed within a subroutine. So I'll say using vMATNAR, and you give some space and list the second field, vSpras. So this using and changing can only be used once. You don't have to say using vMATNAR, using vSpras. You say using and list all the using parameters separated by space, and then you can say changing and list all the changing parameters separated by space. So I'll say changing vmktx. So the syntax at the perform statement will always be this. You can say either using or changing. Under using, you list all the parameters that are used, and under changing, you list all the parameters that will be changed. So by looking at this statement, I can understand that by the end of this call, these two variables will still have the same data they had before the subroutine call, but this variable will change. So it may have some other value, but after the subroutine is called, this will have a different value. So in our case, it will be empty before the subroutine is called, and it will have some value after the subroutine is called. And the syntax at the form level, the parameters you are listing at the perform level are called actual parameters, and the parameters you'll be listing at the subroutine level are called formal parameters. So you can remember form, formal. So these are vmatnr, vsprass are actual parameters, and whatever parameters I list here at the form level are called formal parameters. So the syntax is, again I'll say using, let's say p underscore v underscore matnr, p underscore v underscore sprass, and then I'll say changing p underscore v underscore mktx. What I'm trying to do is, whatever parameter names I give here will be declared as local parameters to this subroutine. You'll be understanding it better when I show it in debug mode. So I'm declaring pvmatnr, pvsprass and pvmktx as formal parameters to this subroutine, and out of that I'm saying these two will be used and this will be changed. Okay. If I say using or changing at the form level, then the parameters are passed by reference. The syntax you use at the perform statement level is only for documentation purpose. It's only for somebody to understand what are the parameters are used and what are the parameters that are getting changed. It doesn't influence how the parameters are passed. Whereas the syntax you maintain at the form level actually decides how the parameters are passed. Either they are passed by reference or value and result. We'll understand what is the difference between them. So if you want to pass by reference, then if you say using or changing. So if I use these keywords using or changing, it will be passed by reference. Again, another thing you need to understand, the system will only care if the number of parameters are similar. So if you have 3 parameters at the perform level, then you should have 3 parameters at the form level. It doesn't care whether you are using this using or changing keywords. So for example, at the perform level, I can say using these two and changing vmktx, but at the form level, I can say using and list all the 3 under using. It doesn't matter. The system will still pass it by reference. All it cares is if the number of parameters are same. So right now, if I do a syntax check, it doesn't complain. But if I remove one parameter and do a syntax check, it will say that different number of parameters in the form and perform routine get data. The number of formal parameters is 2. The number of actual parameters is 3. So at the perform level, we have the actual parameters and they are 3. Whereas at the form level, we have the formal parameters and there are only 2. So it is complaining. So the number of parameters should be same. But since this is getting changed, I'll always say changing. This is again for documentation. Because if I say using or changing, both will pass by reference. Now before I discuss more about it, let's see what is this pass by reference. I'll write on some select statement. Select single MAKTX from MAKT into P underscore V underscore MAKTX, where MATNR equals to P underscore V underscore MATNR and sprass equals to P underscore V underscore sprass. Okay. Here in the subroutine, I am not directly using these global variables. I've defined these formal parameters and I'm using these formal parameters. Let's see in debug mode. I'll keep a breakpoint at the perform statement level and execute it. Here if you see v underscore matnar, v underscore spras, v underscore maktx. These are our global variables, and v matnar is having 100 as the value, spras is having e as the value, and v maktx is empty. And if I look at pv matnar, pv spras, and pv maktx, they are not yet recognized by the system. So it says invalid variable. This variable is not yet created because these are defined, the formal parameters are defined as local data objects, local to this subroutine. So it will be created only when the subroutine is called. Right now we are not still in the subroutine, so those parameters or those variables are not yet recognized by the system. When I press F5, then it will pass the first actual parameter to the first formal parameter. So the value of this vmatnar will be passed to pvmatnar. The value of vspras will be passed to pvspras. Similarly, the value of vmaktx will be passed to pvmaktx. In our case, vmaktx is empty, so nothing is actually passed. It will be empty. If I press F5 and go to that subroutine, you can see this pvmatnar, pvspras, and pvmaktx are now defined, and the value of vmatnar is passed to pvmatnar, and value of v underscore spras is passed to pvspras. When you pass by reference, it actually doesn't copy the data, or it actually doesn't create a copy of the data. Let's say this is your vmatnar memory, v underscore matnar. So this is your actual parameter, the original memory, and when I pass by reference, it doesn't actually create a new memory. It doesn't create this pvmatnar as a new memory and pass the data of this memory to this memory. It doesn't do that. Or what it will do is, it will simply create a reference to the existing memory. So your vmatnar and pvmatnar are both pointing to the same memory location. So it is simply creating a new reference to the existing memory. So now you have one memory with two names. vmatnar is pointing to the same memory, and pvmatnar is also pointing to the same memory. So if you change one, the other gets changed automatically or immediately. If you see this, if I change this pvspras to D and hit enter, you'll notice vspras is also changing immediately because both vspras and pvspras are pointing to the same memory. So that's why it is called pass by reference, where we are actually creating a new reference to the existing memory. We are not actually copying the data or duplicating the data. So we have two variable names, but when the subroutine is called, it is not actually creating a new memory for the formal parameter. The formal parameter is simply pointing to the original memory. Or you have one memory with two different names. Okay, so that is pass by reference. So the key point to remember is when you're passing parameters by reference, then your actual parameter and formal parameter both are pointing to the same memory. So the moment you change one, the other gets changed immediately. So if I change this vmatnar to some other value, then you'll notice my pvmatnar is also changing immediately because both are pointing to the same memory. So once you change something in the memory, then all the references that are pointing to that memory will reflect that change immediately. So the moment I execute this select statement and fill something in pvmaktx, then the original memory will be immediately changed because that is also pointing to the same memory location. It will not allow you to revert back. For example, you have a subroutine and you have written some code, and halfway through the code you realize that certain condition is not met. Then there is no way for you to revert it because all the changes you made so far will have already been updated and the original memory is already changed, right? So you don't have any option to revert back those changes. So when you're passing by reference, the original is changed immediately when you change the formal parameter. But this is an efficient way to pass parameters because you're not actually duplicating the data. So you, for example, if you want to pass an internal table and say your internal table has 300 MB of data, and if you're passing by reference, then you're not occupying any extra memory because your formal parameter simply points to the original memory. Whereas if you pass by value, for example, the other way of passing data, If you pass by value, then it actually creates a copy of the data. So it creates a new memory and copies the contents of your memory to the new memory. So in that case, when the subroutine is called, then you have the original memory that contains 300 MB. Now you are making a copy of the data. So again, you occupy 300 MB. So it is not an efficient way to pass parameters. But with pass by reference, one disadvantage is that if you change something in the subroutine, then the original gets changed automatically. Okay. So this is pass by reference. So if you say using or changing keywords, then the parameters are passed by reference. So the moment you change the formal parameter, the actual parameter gets changed immediately. So if I select this, execute the select statement, I'm selecting data into this PVMAKTX, but you can notice VMAKTX is also getting updated immediately with that data. So if I say using or changing, we'll pass by reference. If I say using value, if I use this keyword using value, then the parameters are passed by value. So what is this pass by value? And again, the syntax at the form level will decide how the parameters are passed. At the perform level, the syntax will always be this, using, changing. You cannot say using value there. However, if I say using value, and you have to give this in parenthesis. So if I say using value, I will split it into multiple lines. Again, you can use this using and changing only once. So here if you say, I'm saying using value PV matter. So PV matter is passed by value. Whereas for PV Spras, I'm not using the value addition. So it is simply saying using PV Spras. So it is passed by reference. And PVMAKTX is also passed by reference. If you want to pass PV Spras also by value, then I have to say value in parenthesis. I'll give this. So using, I'm only the keyword using, I'm using it only once. Whereas for each parameter that I want to pass by value, I'm adding this value before the parameter name and keeping the parameter under parenthesis. Now PVMatnar or VMatnar and Spras are passed by value, whereas PVMAKTX is passed by reference. If you see this in debug mode, VMatnar, VSpras and VMAKTX. Then we have PVMatnar, PVSpras and PVMAKTX. So VMatnar is having 100 and Spras is E, VMAKTX is empty. When I call the subroutine, this PVMatnar, PVSpras and PVMAKTX will be created. Now VMatnar is passed to PVMatnar, VSpras is passed to PVSpras, but since I passed them by value, now they are not actually referring to the same memory. Here, when you pass by value, it actually creates a separate memory, PVMatnar, and whatever value is there in this memory will be copied to this new memory. So your formal parameter is pointing to the new memory, whereas your actual parameter is pointing to the original memory. So you're actually creating a copy of the data and working with the copy. So here, in this case, if I change VMatnar, let's say if I change it to 600, only VMatnar will change. PVMatnar is not changed because PVMatnar is now pointing to a different memory altogether. Whereas in the earlier case, when we passed by reference, both the actual and formal were pointing to the same memory. So if you change one, the other was getting changed automatically. Whereas in this case, since now we are dealing with separate memories for actual and formal parameters, if you change one, then the other will not be affected by that change. But whereas if you see VMAKTX, we are still passing it by reference only. So in this case, if I change PVMAKTX, VMAKTX should change immediately. So if I execute the select and fill PVMAKTX with some data, then you'll notice VMAKTX is also updated immediately. Okay. So if you want to make a copy of the original data and work with the copy without changing the original, then you can pass by value. But the disadvantage is that since you are making a copy, if you have a lot of data, then you will end up occupying a lot of memory. Okay, so that is pass by value. In pass by value, the original is never changed. You are always making a copy of the data and you are working with the copy. The original memory remains intact. You are not touching it. If you change the formal parameter within the subroutine, then only that formal parameter will change. The original is never changed. The actual parameter will still have the original data, right? Whereas if you have a situation where you want to process the data in a subroutine, but you want to change the original memory conditionally. If certain conditions are met, then you want to change the original, otherwise you don't want to change the original. If I pass by reference, I don't have that opportunity, because the moment I change the formal parameter, the original is immediately changed, so I cannot check for a condition. If I pass by value, then the original is never changed even if the condition is met. But if I pass by value and result, then I have this opportunity where I can make a copy of the original data, work with the copy, and if everything goes well, then I can update this changed data back to the original memory. So that we can do by using this value and result. So the syntax for value and result is, if I say changing value, then the parameters will be passed by value and result. So it works like value, but the difference is that in value the original is never changed, whereas in value and result the original is changed after the end form is executed. Okay, before the end form is executed, I can check for my conditions and accordingly decide whether to change the original or not. And we'll see that. So if I say changing value, for example, then this parameter is passed by value and result. Don't give a space between this value and the parameter. Now vMatnar, vSpras are passed by value, so they'll be never changed, whereas vmAKTX is passed by value and result. So if I look at this again, vMatnar, vSpras, vmAKTX, and then pvMatnar, pvSpras, and pvmAKTX. When I call the subroutine, you can see vMatnar is passed to pvMatnar, vSpras is passed to pvSpras, and when I execute this select statement, I am passing vmAKTX as value and result. So it has actually created a copy of that actual parameter, and pvmAKTX is pointing to the copy, whereas vmAKTX is pointing to the original memory. So if I execute this statement, I am selecting data to pvmAKTX, and it is selected only to pvmAKTX, this memory, the copy. The original is still intact. It is similar to value. In value also the same thing was happening, where if you change the formal, the original was not changed because they are pointing to separate memories. But the difference is, after this end form is executed, once it comes out of the subroutine, the system will copy this data into this actual parameter. In value that never happens, whereas in value and result, it copies back the modified data to the original memory after the end form is executed. So if I press F5 and come out of this subroutine, you can see now vmAKTX is updated with this value that was there in the formal parameter. Okay, so there are three ways to pass parameters. Either you can pass by reference, or by value, or by value and result. In reference, you can use this syntax, using or changing. Remember, the syntax that you write at the form level will decide how the parameters are passed. At the perform level, it is always using or changing. You don't say anything else. If you say using or changing at the form level, then the parameters are passed by reference, in which case the system is not actually creating any copy of the original data. It simply creates a new reference to the original data. So your actual parameter and formal parameter both are pointing to the same memory. If you pass by value, then the syntax is, if you say using value, then the parameters are passed by value. When you do that, the system actually creates a copy of the original data, and your actual parameter will point to the original memory. Your formal parameter will point to the new memory. And if you change the formal parameter, the original will not be changed. The actual parameter will not be changed. It will never be changed. In pass by value and result, the syntax is changing value. If you say changing value and the parameter name, then the parameters are passed by value and result. In this case, it is similar to value, where a copy of the original data is created and your actual parameter will point to the original memory. Your formal parameter will point to the new memory. The only difference is that the contents of the new memory will be copied back to the original memory after the end form is executed. Okay, so this allows me to do certain things. For example, after this select statement, I can write some condition. If whatever the condition is, something, any condition, and if that condition is not met, then I can use a statement called stop. If I do this, then even though I change this formal parameter with some value, since my condition is not met, it will not replace my original memory with the new value. My original will still remain intact. Okay, so this value and result is giving me a chance to fill my formal parameters with whatever data I want, and later decide whether I want to change the original or not. Whereas if I do this with pass by reference, then the moment I selected some data into this PV-MATLAB, the original would PV-MKTX, then the original would have changed immediately. So there is no way I can check for a condition and decide whether I want to change the original or not. If I pass by value, then it is never changed. Even if I check for condition, the original will never be changed. Whereas with value and result, you have the option where you can write your code and later check whether a certain condition is met. If the condition is met, you can decide whether to update the original or not. Okay, so these are the three ways you can pass parameters. Now, there's another concept called typing your parameters. At the formal parameters, I'm not typing any parameter. I'm simply saying the parameter name. Then at the runtime, the system will dynamically determine the type of these formal parameters based on the type of actual parameters. So when the program is running, at that time it will see, okay, VMATLAB is declared as character 18 field. So it will create this formal parameter as character 18 field. Okay, so you're actually making the system do that extra stuff. And second thing is, if I change my parameters, if I say SPRAS here and MKTX here, then it will simply do 1:1 mapping. So the VMATLAB, the first actual parameter will be passed to the first formal parameters. So if I write my code this way by mistake, then VMATLAB will be passed to PV-SPRAS, which is wrong, and the system will not complain. MATNR, sorry. The system will not complain because it doesn't know what is this type. Right, so it is assuming that you are passing this first parameter to this. The name doesn't matter. It will simply define PV-SPRAS as character 18 and VSPRAS is character 1, so it will define PV-MATLAB as character 1 in the runtime. However, I can type my parameters to statically tell the system what is the type of this formal parameter. So if I say I want this to be SPRAS, so if I say type SPRAS and I want this to be MATLAB, type MATLAB. Then if I do a syntax check, the system will complain in perform the actual parameter VMATLAB is incompatible with formal parameter PV-SPRAS. Now it is able to perform the check and it is telling you that you are passing wrong parameters. VMATLAB is of character rating, whereas the first parameter you defined here is of character 1, so they are not compatible. So that way, if you do any such mistakes unknowingly, then the system can still correct it for you. The syntax checker can tell you that you are doing something wrong. So to save the CPU time while the program is running, to avoid using that extra CPU to dynamically determine the type, and also to ensure there are no silly coding mistakes, we always type our formal parameters. This way we ensure that the correct parameters are always passed to the correct formal parameters. So if I'll say type matnar, and this I'll say type spras. Now the system will allow me to pass them because they are of same type, so they are compatible. Okay, so these are your subroutines. Subroutines are maintained between form and form, and they are called using the perform statement. And when you're calling a subroutine, you can pass parameters to the subroutines, and we've seen the three different ways you can pass these parameters: pass by reference, pass by value, and pass by value and result. And the subroutines, if you want, you can also do data declarations within a subroutine, which will be considered as local data objects, something like that. So if I define this LV name within the subroutine, then I can access only within that subroutine because they support local data area. As we keep developing these programs, you will understand the purpose of using these local variables. Okay. For now, just understand the different ways you can pass these parameters and try to practice you calling these subroutines. In the next session, we'll do one example using this subroutine. So at that time, you should have much better practical understanding of their usage, how we use it in our regular programs. Like these variables, you can also pass your internal tables also to these subroutines. So all you have to do is list the internal table in the perform statement, and in the form statement, you can list it and type it. Okay. For example, if I have an internal table, let's say IT underscore MAKT, type standard table of MAKT. Then at the form level, I can say, let's say you changing this and changing IT MAKT. Then here I can say simply, if I want to pass by reference, I can say P underscore IT underscore MAKT. Then if I don't type it, then in the runtime it will dynamically determine that this is an internal table and use it as an internal table, but statically I won't be able to treat it as an internal table. What I mean by that is, for example, if I want to write a loop statement, so I'll say loop at P underscore IT underscore MAKT. In the runtime, the system will know that this will be an internal table, but statically it doesn't know that it's an internal table. So if I use a loop statement, it will complain. P is neither specified on tables nor it is defined as internal table. So it doesn't recognize it as an internal table. Similarly, if I want to access, if you are passing a structure and if you want to access the field of a structure, then if you don't type it, then the system will not know that this structure contains those fields. It will only know that during the runtime, but while writing the code, the syntax checker will not know, so it will complain if you try to access any field in that internal table. So what we do is, I can type it either by saying like statement and refer it to the actual parameters. So if I say ptmakt like itmakt, and I'll define one local work area, let's say lw makt type, either I can say type makt similar to what I defined for my internal table, or I can also say like line of. So this line of addition also creates a work area. So like line of, either I can say itmakt or p underscore itmakt, because both are internal tables now. Now we can say into lw makt. Now the system will recognize that as an internal table, so it doesn't complain anymore. So if you are passing internal tables or structures, then it becomes mandatory that you type your formal parameter so that the syntax checker will not complain if you try to perform certain operations that are generally relevant for structures and internal tables, like accessing a field of a structure or using this loop or read statements on that internal table within your subroutine. So all these things we'll put together in the next session and try to do some exercise so that you practically understand how to use them. So see you in the next video.